Everyone, my name is Derrick. I am the co-owner of Pavlova Press with my sister Jac Jenkins. I'm also the city chair for Northland for National Flash Fiction Day. I'd just like to read a couple of flash fiction pieces from our first volume at Pavlova Press, Scoria, a short prose from the Cinder, which has been written by both myself and my sister. I'm going to start off with one of Jac's stories. It's called The Girl in the Drop Hem Dress Whose Mother is Stung by a Bee. The girl in the drop hem dress whose mother is stung by a bee. It is near noon in the orchard and small passions of petals are bursting spring into the air. Or perhaps it's mid-afternoon, hot, and a floral schoolgirl in a drop hem dress skateboards home from dance class, past the corner dairy with its coke red overhang, one muscled calf slightly thicker than the other. At the zebra crossing, she pops the board up and into her grip as she waits for the Merc to cruise to a stop. Or perhaps it's a sunburnt red Toyota, bonnet blistered and peeling, and there's a Brooklyn Beckham lookalike in the passenger seat with the window open, and he winks at her, and her heart goes pitchity-patchity as she walks the board across the road. She looks back, and the driver makes a ring with finger and thumb. She smiles, and he pokes a finger in and out, in and out, in and out. Or perhaps the girl is a dreadlocked surfer dude, and the driver goes, "Chur, bro." Or perhaps the dreadlocked surfer dude is on his longboard, and the waves go chur, chur, chur as he goes down and under, burning his back on the sand. Or perhaps there's no surf. It's a deep ocean drug dream, and he's levitating on the crests. Black expanding to starry night, and we abandon him to billow and roll. Perhaps it doesn't happen like that. Out of the first bloom comes a bee. A woman, ungrey, in her 50s, barefoot in the orchard, is stung and rushed to hospital. Or perhaps she goes on holiday, cycling north, saddlebags filled with jars of jam. She loses her thermocol shirt, her reading glasses, her black bra. The glasses reappear between a puppy's teeth and the clothes in her mother-in-law's hall cupboard 6 weeks later. Or perhaps she is blind, a blind man, a blindfolded blind man, on a dark horse lurching down the slopes of Mania with a sack on his head, thinking, "I'd be pleased to see the bottom about now." But there's only a river flowing black behind the stars to guide him, and his knees hold tight to the horse's dark and bare back. Or the horse is a dirt bike, being ridden fast by a girl in a drop hem dress, spring bursting on all sides, and she's calling out a name. This is not how the story is supposed to go. Now I'll read one of mine. It's called Sunrise. We'd taken 3 months off work to rebuild, consolidate, perhaps make that baby we said we wanted. Let's drive round Australia, you said. It seemed like a good idea, so we flew into Perth and headed for Cervantes. I walked among the limestone pillars and cried, my whole body aching with the land. You laughed. Let's drive the Gun Barrel Highway, you said. You want to go to Ayers Rock? We'll get there faster. We've got 3 months, I said. Can't we take our time? Life's too short to take our time. The next day we turned east and drove to Wiluna, picked up our permits, stocked up on food and water, and swapped out a Hatsu for a Land Rover. We arrived at Uluru 5 days later in the rain. The earth full of flavour, its scent tangy and damp. You ran from one photo stop to the next. I wandered. My collar turned up. Rivulets cascaded down rock faces, springing from nowhere and dashing sideways with no apparent cause. That was yesterday. This morning the rain has gone and I leave you sleeping to watch the sunrise. The sky writes me a story, pink threaded words on deep purple velvet. You join me, yawning as if you were swallowing the day. Let's go to Alice Springs, you say. I'd like to stay. You scowl, collect your pack from the cabin and throw it into the Land Rover. The engine turns over. You won't wait for me, and I won't leave.